The Roman battlefield was a world of dust, iron, and disciplined motion. Across centuries of warfare, one command stood out as a decisive response to one of the most dangerous threats an infantryman could face: the sudden charge of enemy cavalry. That command was Repellere equites, a Latin order meaning repel the cavalry. It was a signal that transformed Roman infantry from a maneuvering line into a tightly packed defensive fortress. Roman commanders understood the speed and power of mounted warriors. Whether facing Gallic horsemen, Germanic riders, Parthian cataphracts, or Sarmatian lancers, Roman infantry knew that cavalry could break through loose formations with devastating force. The Romans recognized early that survival depended not on individual strength, but on coordinated defensive action. Their response was a formation that became central to their combat doctrine. The square formation, a hollow defensive block designed to withstand a cavalry assault from any direction. When the command, Repellere equites, was issued, the transformation was immediate. Centurions relayed the order, trumpets echoed it across the ranks, and legionaries moved with practiced precision. Soldiers at the front lowered their shields and prepared their spears or pila to create a wall of iron points. Those on the sides pivoted outward, forming the flanks of the square. The rear ranks faced backward, ensuring that no angle was left exposed. Meanwhile, the center of the formation remained open to shelter officers, standard-bearers, and wounded men. In a matter of moments, an ordinary marching formation shifted into a complete, all-sided defensive block. This structure was highly effective because it exploited the basic physics of cavalry warfare. Horses, no matter how well trained, hesitated before charging into a dense barrier of shields and spearpoints. A single legionary could be overtaken by a charging horse, but a solid square presented a united, immovable front. With no open flanks or weak points to exploit, attackers found the formation difficult to penetrate. The square could withstand repeated assaults because every soldier understood his exact position and role, allowing the unit to absorb shock without collapsing. Historians note that similar anti-cavalry arrangements were used in many campaigns. Julius Caesar's legions employed defensive formations when confronted by Belgic and Germanic cavalry during the Gallic Wars. On Rome's eastern frontier, infantry used comparable tactics against Parthian horsemen and heavily armored lancers. Even in later centuries, when the empire relied more heavily on auxiliary cavalry, infantry units retained the ability to form squares whenever mounted enemies threatened their lines. Yet the square formation was not without its limitations. Once formed, it had very little mobility. It could march, but only slowly and carefully. It was a defensive posture, not an offensive one, and could not easily pursue or maneuver against a faster opponent. It was also vulnerable to missile fire. A cavalry force supported by archers or javelin throwers could wear down a stationary square if no Roman cavalry or skirmishers were available to counter. Because of these weaknesses, commanders used the square only when necessary and shifted back to normal formations once the cavalry threat passed. The success of Repellere equites depended entirely on Roman discipline. Legionaries trained constantly in formation changes, learning to turn, lock shields, and brace for impact as a single unit. Drills prepared them to respond instantly to commands, whether during a calm training march or amid the chaos of battle. Recruits were conditioned to resist the natural instinct to scatter when a charging horse barreled toward them. Instead, they were taught to trust that the strength of the formation, combined with the collective stability of their shields and weapons, offered the best chance of survival. This approach left a long legacy. Though developed by Roman legions, the principle behind the square formation appeared repeatedly throughout military history. Byzantine infantry manuals preserved similar instructions. Medieval European pikemen used dense formations for the same purpose. Even during the Napoleonic Wars, infantry squares built around bayonets served as the primary defense against cavalry charges, echoing the Roman method used more than a millennium earlier. The command, Repellere equites, therefore stands as a testament to Roman military ingenuity. It reflected their ability to adapt, to analyze the strengths of enemy forces, and to craft effective responses that relied not on individual heroism, but on coordinated discipline. Through countless battles, this formation protected Roman soldiers from one of the ancient world's most formidable threats. The square became a symbol of stability under pressure, a reminder that Rome's strength lay not only in its weapons, but in its organization, training, and unwavering cohesion. Even today, the image of Roman infantry locking shields into a tight, bristling square remains one of the most enduring illustrations of ancient military science. It captures the essence of an army that mastered the battlefield through preparation and collective resolve. And it all began with a single command echoing across the line: Repellere equites,